What's up, guys? My name is Tai Zen. Welcome to the cryptocurrency.market channel. This is a trading, investing, and entrepreneurship channel. With me today is a fellow cryptocurrency trader and investor and a good friend. His name is Eric from Puerto Rico. Say hello, Eric.
How you doing, guys?
All right. So he's originally from Austin, Texas, and then he moved to Puerto Rico for the tax benefits. All right. So we are broadcasting here from the landmark 81 Tower in the beautiful city of Ho Chi Minh City in southern Vietnam, in Southeast Asia, and this is where the big economic capital of Vietnam is at. And in this video, Eric and I want to talk about the importance of having the right education. And Eric and I are going to share with you guys like some of the mistakes that we made when we were coming up in the cryptocurrency market, and not just the cryptocurrency market, but in the just overall financial education in general. And Eric and I will share with you guys some of the mistakes that we made, and then how we realized it was a mistake, and then how we move forward. Okay, and how about we start with you? Because I remember when we first met in 2006, and you got me my first job as a bouncer when I moved to the city of Austin in the state of Texas, in the southern part of America, right? I remember you telling me about how your grandfather passed away or something like that, and then he left you a small amount of money. He told you that the most important thing that he wanted you to do was to use that money and invest it into getting yourself educated. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my grandfather had actually all the grandparents and my parents, they'd all worked to put like a small amount of savings, a college fund for the kids, for me, my sister, my cousin. And you know, I'm pretty sure that everyone else just wasted it, and I took it really seriously that, hey, no, this has to go to college. It doesn't have to go to a car to get me to college.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go to food expenses to get me to college. It has to go to education specifically.
Yeah.
And I didn't share this with you until later down the road, until I actually began using it for education. And I did go to traditional college for a couple of years, and I used a very small amount of that, but usually I actually made the money myself and paid for the school that I went to for a couple of years.
Hey, could you talk about how is it okay if you share how much that money that your grandfather left you for your education? Because I don't want people to think that you had your grandfather left you millions of dollars or something like that.
No, it wasn't millions of dollars. It was something like $10,000-$15,000. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't an extravagant amount of money.
Yeah, and just so you guys know too, in Vietnam, like the average salary right now in the end of 2019 is about $400 or $500 a month for a college graduate. In America, it's about $4,000 or $5,000. So $15,000 would be maybe about somewhere around 3 months worth of salary. You know, and just that way people know, because the people that live in Vietnam or other countries, they may not know how much $10,000 or $15,000 and they might think that that's a large sum of money. Whereas
then multiply that by three children. So it was me and two other people, and that sum was split up between the three of us. Right.
Okay. So it's very small.
So for me, it was about 15 grand.
Yeah.
So it was extremely sentimental. It was very, very personal to me that money can't be spent for anything. I spent time where I slept on floors and couches. I was extremely stubborn with touching that.
And talk about why was that? Like what was it that your grandfather said to you, or what happened in your life where you said your grandfather said, hey, you got to use this money to invest in yourself before he passed away? And what made you so disciplined about that and not go blow it on buying cars or impressing girls or things like that? Because that's what most young guys in America would do, is as soon as they kind of get an inheritance like that, they would just go and blow it regardless of what their parents or their grandparents say.
I think that a lot of people, they don't have education to go along with the money.
Yeah.
And they think that college is going to give them that education, and I personally felt like maybe those two things are not connected. Yeah. Those were separate to me. But for me, I don't know, maybe martial arts gave me some of the stubbornness.
Yeah.
But my emotional connection was between my father and my grandfather. They had told me that, worked, your family has worked a long time and put a lot of effort and energy into giving you some kind of an opportunity. And for you to spend this opportunity on something like a car, like, to me, I would feel terrible, because I would feel wasteful. I would feel like I was not using something in an educated way. It wasn't benefiting my life. Like, you can make the argument, yeah, a car is going to make your life way better.
Impress the girls.
Getting a sweet bachelor pad or getting, you know, something like that would make the quality of your life better, but it wouldn't improve the trajectory of my life.
Yeah, and talking about, because you told me one time when we were, you know, still poor as shit, you know, you told me one time that you believe that having an education would be long lasting, right?
Yeah.
Like, just like your parents put you in judo classes, in martial arts classes, and that stuck with you for the rest of your life. That was like a skill that you learned, and then it stuck with you, and then you just didn't want to spend it on, you know, girls or alcohol or drugs or stupid nonsense like that. Go to concerts, and then after it's done, it's done. You don't have anything to show for it. Talk about how that was important to you.
Temporary. I mean, the word you're looking for is temporary. I mean, when you are making an investment, then an investment is something that has a longer life, and it has residual effects on your life. And if you're spending money has a one-time effect. Spending money is whatever it is that you're spending it for, then it's gone. Yeah. So something like education. Now, this doesn't have to be college. This can be any form of investment where you are growing, and in some way or another, in my opinion, it encourages that wealth to come back to you. Whether it's social wealth, whether it's emotional wealth, whether it's financial wealth, investments are things that come back to you. And I didn't see any benefit of spending the money to increase my emotional state in one particular area. Okay. Because if I spent the money on an emotion is like, it's never stopping. There is no permanent happiness or finish line that we cross that's imaginary. Yeah. And then once we cross this line or reach this goal or have this this white picket fence or whatever it is that we have in our mind, there's no such thing as crossing that finish line and then from that point forward having this happy hormone pumping through our veins. That doesn't exist for me. Yeah. But what does exist is something where you can build some kind of like a fulfillment, and you can have
that's longer lasting.
You can have a permanent, I say loosely because your emotions are always going to go like this, but if your trajectory is to have a better life, how can you build a better emotional foundation? How can you build a better financial foundation? How can you build a better physical foundation? Okay. So those to me represent investments more, because they either continue to grow once you begin making this investment, or they continue to yield results. Okay. Now, one of the things that you read that I read also was Think and Grow Rich. I read Think and Grow Rich also. And then you read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad also. And that was like, I shared with you back in 2006, that was like the landmark book that got me to quit college for good. You knew, like when we first met, I mentioned to you that I was a Vietnamese refugee, came to America. I grew up very poor. I grew up in the ghettos, in East Texas near Houston, and I hung around the wrong, guys, and me and some of my black friends got in trouble with drugs, and I ended up, with spending about nearly 14 years in federal prison in America for drugs. And when I came out, that's when I met you, and you helped me get my first job. And I mentioned to you, you had mentioned to me about college. We were talking about college education, and I said, man, I was really, really planning on getting a college degree when I got out, when I was in my mid-30s. But I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he said that if I want to learn how to make money, I got to learn how to make money. You got to study money. Yeah, you got to study about money and finance and how money works. And I had mentioned to you back then that was like a huge revelation for me, because I thought that if I go and study and become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, a professional, an engineer, an architect, or something like that, right? Then I would become rich. And that opened my eyes. And I made the decision when I came out of federal prison that, I'm not going to study college. I'm going to go learn how to make money.
And the two things that I knew that, and not just any kind of money, I wanted to make the kind of money that produces passive income for me each month, where I'm not location dependent. I don't have to be in an office, and I don't have to be in a certain city. I do not have to be in a certain country. Just like you left America to go and live in Puerto Rico, for tax benefits, I left America to come back and relocate back to Vietnam, to my homeland, and take care of my sick mom, and also get some of the tax benefits over here. And talk a little bit about how I shared with you back then about the internal struggles that I had, the internal emotional struggles that I had of having to come out in my mid-30s and letting go of college. Everybody was telling me I need to get a college degree, but all my friends...
Welcome back to society.
Yeah.
Now here's your instructions.
Yeah.
Go get into 30 grand or 100 grand worth of debt.
Yeah, and it did not make sense to me because all the kids that were smarter than me back in my high school, when I reached out to them, they were all doctors, lawyers, accountants, architects, engineers, working in the oil fields, oil rigs, and hospitals, and every place. And they were not making the kind of money I wanted to make.
They were all stuck in the game.
Yeah, they were all stuck. They had the golden handcuffs where they made just enough money to live, paycheck to paycheck and week to week. But they couldn't stop for 2 weeks to go and visit a beautiful park like this, or go check out a beautiful river like the Saigon River right here next to us, right? They couldn't see that. They had to go to work every week, every Monday through Friday. They had to clock in, and the whole year they would get 2 weeks of vacation. And we talked about how, man, screw that, man. I don't want to live that kind of life. And everybody thought I was crazy that I would not go to college so that I can live that life. They was like, hey, man, what are you going to do? You just came out of prison. And I said, nah, man, I read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And one of the reasons why you and I think that you and I became friends was because you had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And when I shared that with you, you were like one of the few people that did not laugh at me for not wanting to go to college, and wanting to learn about real estate, stock investing, and producing passive income. And that's why I think that you and I became friends. But for me, it was the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad that got me away from the college education mentality and to go for the trading, investing, entrepreneurship mentality, right? So talk about the friction you had inside of you at that time, also, because at that time you were like in your mid-20s?
I was in my mid-20s. I saw the same incongruence. And that's something that we both resounded on the same thing.
Yeah, because
there was an incongruence where people say, hey, you want to have a good financial life, go do this. You want to have a good financial life, go do this. And I was thinking those are completely separate things.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to study, well, how do I want to study this? Because otherwise you wind up with some other kind of job, golden handcuffs is like we say, and you have like this umbilical cord attached to an account. And it's like if you're a coal miner, you're working. I might be working in people's mouths. I might be working on people's taxes. I might be working, but the same thing, you're working, right? You're slaving to fill up that account. And then I've got a cable attached to it, to me, to my family, whatever.
It's like an umbilical cord.
And we're just draining it.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm not filling up, it's draining.
Yeah.
And we might have a scenario where like you have maybe a white collar job instead of a blue collar job, right? There's different tiers of this whole income system, and you might have a better job. But the picture I saw was the same, that they didn't understand how to manage finances.
Yeah.
All they did was have a bigger bucket with their umbilical cord attached to it.
Yeah.
And then with the same rat race, that same hand in mouth, hey, working paycheck to paycheck, maybe a chunk of it's going to savings. Maybe I'm making more money. Maybe I can afford to have a more expensive home loan and a more expensive car loan.
Yeah.
But other than that, I saw in my head the same picture, that they were doing the same thing as somebody who was like here selling soup on the streets.
And how did
that frustrated me.
Okay, so that frustration of knowing that, hey man, everybody's going to college coming out, and most of the people that we see are just living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, right? So that basically what you're saying is that frustration of seeing that and not seeing any end to it or any light at the end of the tunnel was what prompted you to go and learn an alternative or a different method of making money.
Prompted me to that was like a suggestion to me that said, hey, you know what? Maybe these two things are not connected. It's like you and I view college a little bit differently. I'm a little bit less harsh on it than you are.
Yeah.
And my perspective is I don't knock college, but the thing is, I don't knock it when it's doing what it says it's doing, and what the reason, like if I want to go to college, for example, if I want to go to college for a specific reason, and that's the reason that it provides for me.
If college fulfills that reason, then yes, it's worth it.
Exactly.
Like if you want to become a doctor and you need a medical license, you're not going to get it out in the streets.
I have to go to college.
You have to go to college.
That's where I need that specific education.
So if you need,
but there's a lot of people that
are not becoming a doctor.
Yeah, they're not becoming a doctor.
Yeah.
They have an idea that some kind of occupation, some kind of degree will fulfill their desire.
Yeah.
There's a very low percentage of graduates that get a job in their degree field.
Yeah.
And this to me was really perplexing. Like, how come you can spend so many years slaving and paying and getting into debt and becoming a student, right, until you get your degree, and then you get out and then you go do something completely different?
Yeah.
To me, that was mind-boggling, and that was a huge red flag to me that said, you know what, I need to study the things that I need, the things that are evergreen.
Yeah.
Right? If I study how to communicate with people, it doesn't matter what career I'm in, I need to know how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
If I study how to manage money, not just plus and minus balance a checkbook, but if I study finance, if I study financial instruments, then that's going to benefit me no matter what method I use to create or generate income. If I study what is the difference between active income and passive income, passive income is not like sitting back on a beach. You still have to make decisions. Some of them are hard decisions. Some of them take a little bit of work and a little bit of time. But you're not going 9 to 5 flipping burgers. So now, that was good to me. So I want something that's passive. I don't mind having a little bit of active income, but I'm not working like a 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 like some people do, 14 hours, 15-hour days. And I want to be able to know the difference between those things. I don't want to have an idea that I need to go to college for something that's not going to fill my goals, and then I'm not even going to get a job in a career in the education field, in my degree field.
So when you and I met in 2006, we were working as bouncers at a dance club, and then in 2007, after my first massive heart attack, right, I had been learning. You knew that I was trying to learn how to trade stocks for many years already, and you said, hey man, when you figure it out, you let me know, and I'll take a shot at it. But right now, I don't want to take that risk yet, right? And then I went to, I had enrolled into, I finally found a good stock trading school that taught me, and it cost me like $5,000. And then when I came back and I told you, hey man, these guys are, these are really good. The instructor really knows what he's doing and everything. And I know that it was a tough, emotional decision for you also to invest your money into getting educated in the stocks, because everybody around you wanted you to get educated in college, not in some technical school about how to trade stocks.
Oh, that's gambling.
Yeah. So talk about that emotional turmoil that you had to go through, or that obstacle you had to go through, and how did you overcome that?
I had to find a way to where it became less of an emotional decision and become more of a logical decision. That was one of the tools I used.
Yeah.
But the second thing was actually hearing something that my grandfather said, that my father says all the time, and he says, I can't afford cheap tools.
Yeah.
You can't afford cheap tools, because then every time you go to use it, it breaks.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work when you need it the most.
Yeah, I learned that because when I was growing up, my family owned a machine shop, and I would look through the catalogs for drill bits, and every time we break a drill bit, I would order the cheap ones.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were saving money. Me and my brother thought, this drill bit's $5, the other one's $15. Why would I pay $15 and I can get 3 of these drill bits?
Yeah.
Right? And even if they break, right, I got 2 more. And the mistake that we made, my brother and I didn't know, my dad kept saying, hey man, order the $15 drill bits or the more expensive ones. Then that way we don't have to worry about ordering it again. And so he always made us use like back then, this was back in like the late 80s, when the Sears Craftsman tools, they were like one of the best hand tools, mechanics tools out there, and the Snap-on tools, like those two were pretty much neck to neck. Back then we didn't have brands like DeWalt Husky and Milwaukee, and you know, as far as hand tools go, back then, you know, we had everything was either Snap-on or they were a Sears Craftsman, and that both came with a lifetime warranty. And my dad would always say, hey man, just get whatever you get, just get one of those too, and then you have the best tools. You don't have to ever go down to the job site and ever worry that you have bad tools, right? Because if you have bad tools, you're not going to perform
You're not going to be able to get the job done.
Yeah.
You go to use a crappy screwdriver,
Yeah.
it strips out after a couple screws, and then you can't use it.
And then I remember we have this reciprocating saw, which the saw blade comes in and out like that. And I remember every time we had that, I would leave that to use at the shop only. And when I go down to the boat, where the work environment was much dirty, much greasy, much oil, lots of fish, and just really dirty environment, right? I would bring along this Black & Decker saw. And my dad would say, don't bring bad tools to your job, man. You're already in a tough environment. You're in a hot environment, you're in a tough environment. It's stinky, it's smelly, it's oily, it's greasy, you know? Why would you want to go there with the worst tools?
You were taking it even a step further, and
I was saving the tools
and not using them for the jobs that were important.
Exactly, and my dad was saying like, hey man, you go down there with the bad tools, it takes you longer, it breaks, it's going to take you longer, it doesn't make sense. We got the best tools here, take the best tools, go in, that's what they were made for. These tools were made for those conditions. So go in there with the Milwaukee saws, go in there with the Snap-on wrenches, go in there with the Craftsman hammers and crowbars, and go in there and do your job, and that way you can get it done quick and done accurate and safe. And check this out. I didn't believe him one time until I took the crappy Black & Decker saw back then. They're probably better now, but back then they were really crappy tools. And I remember I was sawing down there in the engine room, and you know, it was sweaty, it was humid, and man, I don't know what happened one time. It got wet, and I almost got electrocuted. You know, and then when I was telling my dad, you know, when he called down and asked us how we were doing, and I said, hey man, you know, everything's good. We just had a little simple malfunction with the saw and the electricity, you know, and he goes, I told you guys not to bring that down there, it's not safe, you know. He goes, you could have been electrocuted for nothing. He goes, next time bring the Milwaukee saw down there and use the right tools. And that's what, you know, even though my dad and I had lots of disagreements about lots of things, especially about money, but I'll tell you what, when it came down to, you know, mechanics and tools and mechanical engineering, right, and machining and welding and cutting and things like that, you know, he always, you know, he said, man, use the best tools, you know.
So this is actually another piece of the puzzle. You should listen to people that are qualified to give criticism.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really hard to learn when you're immersed in your high school friends and your family and everything, and especially when you really look up to your family, like in certain areas, it's hard to find other mentors in other places in life. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I need guidance. It's hard to like really find somebody. And then on top of that, how do you qualify a mentor? How do you find, hey, who's qualified to give me criticism and give advice? Who should I listen to? Who shouldn't I listen to? Yeah. So when you were learning to listen to your father about tools, you found out the hard way by, you know, not listening, paying the price, breaking all the tools, losing money, wasting time, and then having to revert to getting the right tools later on.
And risk getting injured.
But in life,
you know,
not everybody ends up getting the right tools later on. They just continue to get the wrong tools. So the question is, like, how do we find the right guidance, the right mentors? And when you were so determined, like, I'm sure some of the viewers can see like how relentless you are with when you set your mind to something, certain topics and certain things of interest, they just like flow naturally because it's always on your mind, right? It's like a sponge. And at that time, that's what trading was. You were like, this is the answer. We got to figure this out. And I trusted you because you actually did the research. You went to several trading floors. You went to different trading schools. You went to online schools, physical schools, and like you actually had a logical reason, which is what I said earlier. Like, hey, look, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This here's the list of why this is better than this, and why this provides education that we're not going to get at these other places at the level that we require. So for me, those two things, hey, I need the right tools, and I need to go get the information from the people who are qualified to give it to me the correct way. And I recognize that the people at the school all had a lot of experience.
Yeah.
They all had done time in the trenches, and I said, you know what, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So I was willing to invest in myself, in something that I was going to see return over my life, multiplied.
So what happens is, when I remember, like, when this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but like when I finally learned how to trade stocks, forex, futures, and then when the crypto market came along, and I was able to be one of the first ones to jump into the crypto market and figure this out and learn it. One of the things that I always said to myself is that, hey, you know what? You remember when we were still living in Austin? I said, hey man, one of these days when I figure this trading out, man, I'm gonna put the writings on the wall and put together a curriculum or a course so I can leave it behind to other people so they can figure it out. If they want to learn how to do it, I got something that I can leave to them, for people who have never traded before, or people who want to be serious about it, right? And I remember, like, when I was spending time to build out the cryptocurrency investing blueprint curriculum, right? I remember my wife asking me, like, man, like, you're up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just every day, putting your heart and soul into this curriculum, right, into this training program, like you already made enough money trading Bitcoins and crypto, like, why else do you need to do this? And I told her, I said, and I don't know, she couldn't understand this at the time, but I know you can appreciate this, is that I said, man, when I started, the path was not very clear to me. The path of where I need to go to make life-changing profits and be able to retire early, it was not very clear to me. And I always said to myself that one of these days, when I figure it out, man, I'm going to leave the breadcrumbs, the records of what I did, so that other people can do it. And I'm happy to say that the cryptocurrency investing blueprint that we put together, that my wife kept saying, why did I put so much time into it, late nights into it, right? Right now, that training program has helped, not only me retire early, but you and many the people that we know retire early. And whenever, I put that up online, and Leon puts it up online, and we put our name and our picture and everything on the curriculum, I would have to say that is one of our proudest achievements, is to be able to have, in my opinion, the absolute best, cryptocurrency investing training program on the planet out there. And I know it's kind of biased that I'm the author of it and the co-creator of it with my business partner, leonfu.com, right? That I say that, but I don't see any other, and you've been in the trading world for a long time, you don't see no other program like that.
They're not doing the same level that you're doing.
And I remember that, one thing that I appreciate about what you said, you said when I offered it to you for free, you said, no, man, like, whatever that, you guys charge for it, I'm gonna pay my portion. And one thing that I appreciate about what you said was that you talked about commitment, right? About how, hey, like, if you got it for free, you wouldn't take it seriously.
I wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be retired right now. You wouldn't be retired right now.
We've seen that with so many other people, that when you give them something, they don't value it, they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I like to take things a little bit to the extreme.
Yeah.
When I have confidence in something, I literally don't want it for free.
Yeah.
That may sound crazy or insane to some people, but when something is extremely valuable to me, I want the people who are producing it to be able to continue their work. I want to be able to become a part of this. I want to hop in somebody's back pocket. Like, there's things that I want to do to where, like, I can't just be a value taker.
Yeah.
Like, I if I want to become more valuable myself, if I want to produce more good in the world, I can't just be a vampire. Now, I do need to learn. I need to absorb a lot of information, and I need to be able to utilize that information. I need to process it and then actually take action and make decisions. But, like, I can't just, like, take things. So there have been times in my life where I've received some things that I view as quite valuable.
Yeah.
And if I'm not in a situation where, like, I can pay for it, like, hey, it just comes into my lap and I'm like, oh, wow, now I've got this great tool, then I instantly go to my friends and I'm like, hey, guys, you need to study this. I've got an opportunity to here in front of me.
Yeah.
And like I want to instantly share it with other people and make sure that other people are growing.
And you know, one of the things that I really appreciate, you know, that you did. I remember when we did our first boot camp in our cryptocurrency investing boot camp, right, in Los Angeles, and we bought new computers for all the students in the class, and I bought some for you too. And I remember when David, or I think it was David or Leon that asked me, you know, who's this computer for, right? And I said, it's for you, right? And they asked, did you pay for it or what? And I said, no, he paid, just give it to him. And you said, nah, man, don't give nothing to me for free. I'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact you said that. Even with the hardware wallets and everything, you're like, why? I'm here to learn just like everybody else. Why should it be free for me?
Yeah.
We can be friends over here, but when it comes to you showing me this, you guys took the time and the effort and put this curriculum and, you know, put this training program together. Why should I just come in just because I'm your friend? You know, so that's one thing that I always appreciated. And when I told that Leon and David,
a business cost.
Yeah, I told David, hey man, you know, Eric doesn't want it for free. He wants to pay for everything just like everybody else, right? And they were kind of surprised too, because, you know, if we gave you the course, the computers, the hardware wallet, and the curriculum for free, they wouldn't have said nothing, because they knew that you were very responsible for helping me get my first job when I first got out of prison and everything. So they wouldn't have said nothing about that, but they were kind of like surprised, like, oh really, he's going to pay for it? Like, he doesn't need to. Is he sure? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to sit there and argue with him. He said, yeah, he doesn't want it to be a freeloader, right?
My cost is and was minuscule compared to my benefit.
Yeah.
So for me to just like...
Yeah, because I remember you saying that if I can retire off of this, if this helps me to retire early, this is nothing. The cost of this is nothing. Of this curriculum is nothing, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any point of trying to like... everybody likes free stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to win a prize. Everybody likes to get the hookup. Everybody likes to like... But at the core...
But you got to know what's important. Like, what education should be free and which one should not.
Yeah.
You know, you remember, share how old you are right now, because I always tell people that I'll be 49 years old next month.
At the time of this video, you're still about to be 49?
Yeah.
I'm 37.
He's always messing with me about my age. Okay.
He's the only guy I know that was 39 for 10 years.
Dude, I don't keep track of my age, man. The only reason why I know my age here is because everywhere I go, there, you know, all the government offices are asking me my age so I can get my driver's license, my passports, you know, all my legal documents. That's how I've had to do it so many times since I relocated back to Vietnam.
I know, because
so now I'm being bombarded with how old I am, you know. But when I was living in America, I never paid attention to how old I was.
You got out here and we were talking on the phone, and you're like, bro, so I just found out how old I am. And I'm like, what the hell? Every time we talk, your age is changing.
You know, I'm getting older, man. I'm not getting younger, man. But, you know, I will say this, man. I will congratulate you on being able to retire early, because if you're 37 now, that means you retired like around 34, 35. So somewhere in your mid-30s. Man, I just started building my financial career in my mid-30s, you know. So now, when you look back, right, and I'm not talking about, you know, the time or the money that you invested into the cryptocurrency investing boot camp that you attended with us, you know, but talk about just your education overall throughout your life. Like, you've invested money into learning judo. You've invested money into learning Portuguese. You've invested money into learning German. You've invested money into learning Spanish. You've invested money into learning Thai, to speak Thai. Every country that you've gone to, you've invested in a small booklet, a DVD, an audio cassette, something to help you learn the culture, the language, the people there, right? And then when you got out and you made the decision, hey, I'm not going to go to college, I'm going to go and invest into my financial education, right? Looking back now, it's safe to say, I know that it's safe to say that it's probably thousands and thousands of dollars, probably more than the average student going to college investing in their college education, right? Looking back now, although it was hard for you to make that decision to invest in yourself for that alternative education like that, looking back now, right, what would you say to yourself back then so that you can be more efficient at it back when you were scared to invest that money into your education? What would you say to the young Eric today if you could go back in time?
A couple things, but the first is that everyone pays a tuition.
Yeah. And what do you mean everyone pays a tuition?
Everyone pays a tuition. So take trading, for example.
Yeah.
You got
Hey, I can go online and learn it for free. So what are you talking about?
You're going to pay a market tuition.
And what do you mean by market tuition?
You have a choice to pay that money directly to the markets.
Yeah.
I'm gesturing over the edge of this tall thing that we're sitting on.
This tall tower.
This tower, okay. You can pay it directly to the markets, or you can invest it in yourself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that money comes out of your pocket. Which one is more likely to return? The one that has education and experience, the one where you are investing to build yourself up, to build up your I don't know what it is, your communication skills. I would venture to say your specified knowledge, your specialized knowledge in a specific area. If you intend on interacting with that specific area for the rest of your life, you would benefit from understanding it better. So to me, I paid a tuition by investing in myself in specified areas. Now the problem is I didn't always have an idea of which direction I was going. So finding the actual end goal of, okay, you know what, I require some forms of passive income. I need some kind of financial instruments, not just working hours for dollars.
Because you invested money to learn about multi-level marketing, network marketing and stuff.
I did lots of multi-level marketing, but I wasn't good at it because I felt like I was trying to get people to do things. I felt like I was taking.
Yeah. And
emotionally for me, I had some issues. Even when I got excited, even when, I brought some people and draw the circles or whatever you got to do to share
and
your
I remember
plan.
you sharing that with me, the Amway, or no, not the Amway, but the Quick Star.
Same thing.
Same
One
thing,
of them
right?
was online. Amway, Quick Star, Primerica, all these
multi-level marketing.
There's lots and lots of different multi-level marketing schemes, and they're all designed to funnel money up to the top. The top.
Yeah, and I didn't like that because I remember you sharing with me, and you said, "Hey, man, I haven't made the money that I want to from this multi-level marketing yet. I'm not sure if it even works, but here this is what we're doing. If you want to try it, take a crack at it."
Now I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
That multi-level marketing stuff is responsible for being a very large area of influence in my life.
Yeah.
And getting me to start listening to tapes.
Yeah.
Listening to audio education programs, reading books. So those books that we've read that we have in common, several of them came through that whole
the multi-level marketing training,
because it was huge. It wasn't just like, hey, here's the training, here's a list, but it was very broad in scope to say that, like, hey, you need to be a better person
in order to do better
if you want better results in your life. You need to change yourself.
Yeah.
You need to become someone who's capable of generating better results, not someone who's capable of accepting crappy or half-assed
but
results.
Back to what you were saying about the market tuition, because this is something that I was not aware of, you were not aware of when it got into trading.
There's no manual. Nobody
tells us, right? So let's elaborate on that a little bit, because I think that's a valuable topic that you brought up, right? So when I first started out trading, and you did the same thing too, right? Until we met Kevin. We won't say what his full name is, but it wasn't until we met our trading instructor, Kevin.
Grandmaster Kevin.
Yeah, Grandmaster Kevin. Yeah, that he told us that, hey, man, the classroom education is not enough. That money, that $5,000 that you guys invested, meaning me and you, invested into the classroom education, he said there's still a market tuition you got to pay.
You still got to pay it.
Yeah, you're going to pay it.
To the market.
The market.
But you need
in losing trades and stuff.
To adjust that.
Yeah, but he says the difference is, right? Remember what he told us? He goes, the difference is that the classroom tuition, that $5,000 classroom tuition that we invested in, right, helps to reduce that market tuition.
Yes.
So we know that this is a constant. That the classroom tuition is a constant, whereas we don't know what every trader's market tuition is going to be.
Yeah.
It could be like, remember that I think you and I have met several people in our lives who have lost over $1 million during the crash
Yeah.
of 2000, during the crash, another $1 million during the crash of 2008, and they still don't know nothing.
Well,
they still don't know nothing.
Even if we remove
Yeah.
market crashes,
Yeah.
because people can say, "Oh, it's a market crash. It hit everybody." No. We remove the market crashes, remove the extreme scenarios.
Yeah.
We still know people who've lost millions, because what happens is, okay, for me, trading is like, it's logical. For some people, it's gambling because they can't do what it is that they were learned, because they refuse to do it.
Yeah.
They refuse to follow the instructions, and then they get caught up in the game. Then they're like,
Yeah.
ha, 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 like I won one, yes, and then
Yeah.
like I'm gonna keep doing it, even like forget the rules. I'm not gonna follow
Yeah.
the rules. I'm not gonna. And what happens is, I had one guy that for him, it was gambling, because he'd go and he'd make 20, 30 grand.
Yeah.
1 month, then the next month he'd lose 20, 30 grand. The next month he'd make 40, 50 grand trying to get back, and then he'd lose 70 grand. He's like, okay, I'm done. And the thing is that for him, he wasn't willing to apply these lessons. He wasn't willing to apply these things to, like, he went and paid for the education, but he didn't use it.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
and there are people who don't.
They invest in the education, but then they don't go take action on it.
Then they just do what they want.
Yeah, like
And
if
to me,
you
it's
guys
very
are listening to
confusing.
this, and you are one of those people that want to get a copy of our cryptocurrency investing blueprint at www.cryptocurrency.market/blueprint. If you're one of those people that want to get a copy of it, but you have no intentions of taking action on it, please do not get it. Please do not get it, because I'll be honest, I don't want to coach, and I don't want to, spend time helping someone, right, that is not serious. Like, if you're going to get into it, be serious about making life-changing profits. If you just want to get in it to feel good, please do not sign up. Please do not get you a copy of it. I created that cryptocurrency investing blueprint for the people who are serious about making life-changing profits in trading and investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So I'm glad you brought that up.
I've had the same in jiu-jitsu and sports and things like that, where you have students that come in and it's like they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
It's like they say, "Hey, when am I going to get better?" And you say, "Hey, we'll do this," and they literally don't do it.
Yeah.
Or they literally do the opposite of what you tell them, and they just don't do it. And I don't know that I really understand that.
I don't know either. I don't have an answer for that. To me, they're just not serious about making life-changing profits. Well, I will say this about you, though, that I do appreciate that you do what we teach in the curriculum. Like, you're not even like
I have no evidence.
Yeah, like
to.
when we tell you to use a hardware wallet, you use it. We tell you stick with the ledgers and the Trezors. You don't go and use another brand and then ask us, why we don't use the other brand. Like, hey, we already figured this shit out, man. Don't come back and ask us.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I don't have any need to reinvent the wheel. I
Yeah.
mean, the wheel was invented in several places in the planet at the same time.
Yeah.
But like, if somebody's already got it, like, it's very clear to me that there are people who have already figured things out.
And that's
I don't have any desire to go and try. Like, I may be creative in some areas of my life.
yeah.
In other areas of my life, I am
Yeah.
not creative. I haven't done the repetition. I haven't learned the actual environment to do it myself, right?
Yeah.
There's other areas of my life where I haven't put in tens of thousands of hours. So jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
I've done so much jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
that, like, I make up some new moves here and there. It's not like a big deal. It's not like world-changing new moves, but it's stuff
Yeah.
that I like, that I use, and that works because it's been battle tested.
Yeah.
There's other areas in my life, in my finances, where I don't feel like doing that. There's plenty of people who have already figured it out. I prefer to learn from people who are qualified to give
Yeah.
criticism, qualified to give me instructions, qualified to follow their examples. Also, I don't want to make the mistake of following. Take Trump for example.
Yeah.
Regardless of your political opinions,
Yeah.
or take Grant Cardone for example.
Yeah.
These guys are huge moguls in different areas.
Yeah.
So for me, at my stage of the game when we were younger, say 2006.
Yeah.
Like for me to copy their principles, what they do today, they're dealing with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Versus my, 1 comma.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
So like those tools and strategies weren't designed to work for me at the stage that I was at. So I've learned to figure out, hey, you know what? Who's a step above me? Who's a couple steps above me? Who's still recently close enough to where I am to where I can
hey,
follow
Max,
them?
Don't get near the babe. I'm trying to shoot a video here, babe. Please do not have him on the edge. Like, if he falls down, he's gonna die.
I already know that. I told him already. Max.
Max, don't die.
Over here.
Okay, so the thing that that you said there about learning it from the right people, getting the education from the right people, that is so critical, man, because in my trading journey, one of the things that I really screwed up on was not learning it from the people that actually traded for a living.
Yeah.
That was a huge, to me, that was like a huge time sucker and a time waster, because I was spending years learning it from people that I thought was trading for a living, and come to find out they weren't.
You wind up with a bunch of information that you can't use because it's not based on real world experience.
And then when I got to where I was managing, a multiple 7-figure portfolio, I realized, man, these people had no clue. And that's why, whenever I say that our cryptocurrency investing blueprint is designed for the people who are looking to manage a 7, 8, 9-figure portfolio, that's because we have gotten to these levels, and gotten people to these levels to manage it correctly. You know what I'm saying? So,
but there's something actually that you're not mentioning, and that I touched on a moment ago, is that there is a difference between your program and something else that might be designed for 6, 7, 8-figure portfolios.
Yeah.
Is that
I don't know of any other program out there that's designed for that.
I don't either.
Yeah, so.
But this is still a difference.
If you do, let me know. I mean, I'm always open to learn.
I'm going to extrapolate from other business education.
Yeah.
If you and I want to learn about, a $1 billion business.
Yeah.
But we could only afford like a juice cart.
Yeah.
A juice cart and run around Santa Monica Boulevard or something like that. Then would it be safe to say that we might be learning from the wrong? We might be educating because there's too many missing steps.
Yeah, like if you're,
so the point that I want to make is that for your program, it's designed for people from beginner level.
Yeah.
Like assuming they have enough money to invest in the course and something to invest in the actual markets themselves, and that's amazing. And they can build the strategies, build the habits, build the repetition, and they can do it from there, which is capable of scaling to a 6, 7, 8-figure portfolio. Versus, hey, this is what you do here, but it really doesn't work here. Because there's a lot of business models that they teach you what they're doing up here, but you can't do it down here. Yeah. And they don't fill in the gaps of how do you get there.
Exactly, and that's one thing that I made sure that in our cryptocurrency investing blueprint, that it is designed so that people that are just new to crypto can take it from there and go all the way to the top to a 7, 8, and know what to do with a 7-figure portfolio, 8-figure portfolio, or 9-figure portfolio once they get there. But the thing that you're saying is absolutely correct, because a lot of people quote Warren Buffett. I never fucking quote Warren Buffett because the shit that he does, I cannot do.
Yeah.
Right? I quote, my fellow trader and investor, leonfu.com, right? The oracle of crypto, because everything that he does, I can do. So the things that we put in our blueprint are only the things that we know regular people can do. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have an engineering degree. You don't have to have software engineers, right? Everything that we do in there is stuff that me, you, and all our team members and all our friends started out with nothing, and started coming out. And when I say nothing, I don't mean zero. We started with very small amounts of money, right? I mean, we were working for minimum wage and stuff and saving up our money to invest into the financial markets. So, but Any last thoughts about education and the importance of having the right financial education before we wrap it up?
Yeah, well, two things. See if I can remember both of them by the time I'm finished with the first one.
Yeah.
One is that you should always, always, always invest in yourself.
Yeah.
So this didn't start with finance.
Yeah.
To me, this started when I was younger, watching my father do different business strategies, and then when I started getting interested in like this different things like Amway and what have you, and I started putting this information into my brain with the effective habits of highly effective people, right? Was it 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Stephen Covey.
Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, like all these books that every successful business person has most likely read. They have on their bookshelf. I started by investing in myself in any way that I can, and what happened is I started to recognize, hey, these are opportunities, and I started having the ability to recognize it, and then the power to make decisions and take action, because I put myself in that situation repeatedly. So like, hey, when I started to see the investment stuff that you were doing, I was like, this is in line with exactly what I need to do. And then when I saw the cryptocurrency stuff and you were exposed to it and I was exposed to it, there wasn't any question in my mind, there wasn't any hesitation, so I took action. So the first thing is invest in yourself, and
to get educated.
To get educated, and it starts with every day.
Yeah.
It starts with every day. Do something to educate yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you have something that's incredibly valuable in front of you, you recognize it and then you take action. So that's the second piece, is to take action. And invest in yourself and take action. Invest in yourself and take action.
So
and those
because
are two habits that you have to repeat.
Because if you invest in yourself and get the education but you don't take no action, then it's worthless.
Yeah. Or if you invest in yourself to get partial education, and then when you find other education that meets your needs, you don't take action on it, then like you're missing out. So like, I didn't go to every single investing school. I figured out what it was that worked. Yeah. You did the legwork for me.
Yeah, I figured it out for you, and then you came and took it. So
that's actually another lesson of
let somebody else figure it out.
Hang out around people who are good enough to do the legwork for you, and or they're smart enough to figure things out for you, but you have to take action.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing this with my viewers, man. Because a lot of times, people think that they see where I'm at today, they see where you are at today, they see where leonfood.com is at today, and they see where David is at, and the rest of our team, and my friends and stuff, and our students and our clients, and they think, oh, these guys just got lucky. And that's like one of the to me, that's like a slap in the face. It's like, oh, so all those times that I spent learning how to chart, learning how to read candlesticks, learning how to size my bets correctly.
We would go home from the clubs at 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, and we'd be on the phone on a Bluetooth, looking at charts, talking about, hey, are you looking at CLAC today?
Yeah.
Are you looking at KLA? Are you looking at Apple?
You're looking at Apple. You're looking at Dell. You're looking at Microsoft.
And we'd say, hey, we would over the phone be matching trend lines and talking about stuff. Like, the thing is that we put in a lot of hours, and this chaps my hide, Ty. Look. If you're not getting what you want out of your life from your 9 to 5, if that's not going to build your future, your financial future, your relationship, if it's not going to do it for you, then the only time you have to do it is outside of work. Yeah. There's no such thing as free time. There's your time. You're either renting it, selling it to somebody else, or you're building the life that you want. You're responsible for it. And if you just jack around and you call it free time, so you go to work for your 9 to 5, that's not building your future. It's busy building somebody else's dreams. And then you come out of that and you go to your time and you just goof off and watch TV,
smoke weed, drink beer.
Which there's nothing wrong with either one of those, but unfortunately, if you're filling all your time outside of work
if you're a broke ass and you have big financial dreams, but all you do is want to drink beer and smoke weed every day.
What happens is you become exceedingly good at wasting time. And that to me is just ridiculous.
Unacceptable.
There's no free time. There's your time. Are you building somebody else's dream, or are you building yours? And
I've gotten to the point in my life now, next month I'll be 49. I've gotten to the point now where whenever somebody says, they're not happy with their life, or they don't like something about their life, or they're not financially happy,
Change.
I tell them, man, hey, figure out what you want in life, get educated on how to do that, Because somebody else already figured out. Thousands of people have already figured out. Nothing that you want to do is new. There's nothing that you want to do is new. Okay? Go figure it out, right? Go get educated and learn how to do it, and get off your ass and go do it, and then create the life that you want. You know. So thanks for joining us on this video and sharing your educational journey.
Sorry.
And
I got burnt up.
If
there
you guys like this video,
moment.
guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter at HeyTaiZen. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter at cryptocurrency.market/newsletter. And then if you are serious about learning how to trade or invest in the cryptocurrency market, make sure that you go to www.cryptocurrency.market/blueprint and get a copy of our cryptocurrency investing blueprint. Like I said, it's the absolute best training program that I know of on the planet for people who are looking to grow their portfolio to a 7, 8, 9-figure portfolio. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. Thank you.